Hi everyone, it's Monday at the Mystical Magical Mansion. Welcome to my kitchen. If this is the first time you're tuning in, my name is Kim. My husband Ryan and I bought this beautiful old mansion built in 1910 here in the Gold Coast neighborhood of Omaha, Nebraska, just over a year ago. And each week we share a little bit about our home, our neighborhood, what's going on with our family, our kids, all of those things. So welcome. And I hope you're all staying warm and well. It's been a little snowy, a little crazy around here, and I know lots of places in the country, you guys are getting pummeled with snow too. So you'll get to see just a little prance outside in the snow from us. But I wanted to share with you just a fun little project today, as well as some other things, of what I have going on in my kitchen. So I have been interested in growing mushrooms. I think ever since actually even at our house at the lake, just because I think they're such a fascinating thing. And if you watch documentaries on mushrooms, you'll know what I mean about it. So I had looked at, if our wine cellar would be a good location or a good spot to grow mushrooms. It seemed like the right spot to me, but actually I was wrong. So my husband very sweetly, I hadn't even thought about it or said anything, got me a mushroom growing, these kits for Christmas. And this is from Forest Origins. Here's the card for this, and I'll get a close-up shot for you. But it came in this box, and there's 3 different packs, and it's got kind of the stratum, I think they call it, which is like some of the food and things that it needs to already in these sort of bundles. And then you have to cut these bundles open, and they will grow mushrooms out the holes where you put the cut. So this fellow, I opened this at Christmas time, and then I had stuck it downstairs in the dark in the cool just to keep it safe from doing anything. And then when I opened it, look, this one's already trying to grow out the side. So it was very, very, very excited to come to life, and I've done nothing with it. So I don't know whether I should nip this off while this is happening or just leave it. I'm not sure. So I think just to be cautious, I'm going to cut this little nub off. I probably just violated some law of mushroom growing, but that's okay because I'm a novice. So today you're going to see me start this. So this little bundle just has all of these, the little tangled web. It almost looks like spider webs. That's sort of the web that grows the mushrooms themselves. And then I'm going to cut a hole in the side where it says to, and then you put water in it, and then you're actually supposed to put it in the light. That's what will bring it to life. So the instructions say, make an X-shaped cut approximately 2 inches in length and 1 inch in depth in the substrate bag. So this is the substrate bag, and it has an X on it. So I don't know how much easier they could possibly make this for you. And this bag is going to be brown oyster mushrooms. So I'm really excited. All these mushrooms are obviously culinary mushrooms. They're for eating. They're not for recreational use. So these are just for having some delicious meals. So I have my little cut. Then it says to lift the edges where the plastic is. So I'm doing that. And then you're supposed to take a fork, lift the flaps. You're supposed to wake them up. So it says lightly scratch away some of the top layer of the soil with the fork. Okay, so I'm going to take this little fork and go in where I made these little cuts and scratch. Oh, wow. Okay. So it almost looks like kind of like cracker crumbs or something in there coming out. So I'm just scratching this a little bit to say hello, wake it up, and then I'm going to dump these back in there because I don't need it on my counter. And then you're supposed to dump in 3 tablespoons of water to this area that we've sort of teased, and I've measured this out a bit. So there's 1, so I'll let that soak for a second. 2 and 3. So I'll let that soak in there. So we're giving it a drink, we're waking it up. And then all it says I have to do is keep them hydrated. So they send you these little water bottles, these little squirt bottles that we fill in, and so you're supposed to mist it every few days. And then you just put it in a place where it gets indirect light. So I'm going to set it in my sunroom, but not in front of a window, just kind of back in a back corner on a shelf. But we're going to watch and I'll show you guys how this goes. I'm really excited to see how lively they are. If they're as active as just that one little bit that came out of the corner, this is going to be really cool. So hopefully, and it says, whoop, on here, 1 to 2 weeks to see any growth. Once you see the mushrooms growing, keep hydrating, and they should double in size every day until they reach maturity. Before you harvest, share a picture of what you grow and tell us about it, of course. Well, we'll be happy to do that. So yeah, harvest and enjoy. It says they will be ready for harvest when the mushrooms start to discolor, when the edges of the mushroom caps start to thin out. Okay, well, I guess we'll figure that out as it goes. So yes, this is from Forest Origins, and this, I'm not in a collaboration. I have no affiliation with them. This is just a gift I got from my husband. So I think it's super cool, and we're going to do this today. So I'm growing and starting this project upstairs, and my husband is still brewing beer downstairs, and I believe he's been tapping and hopping and I don't know, a bunch of other things. And today is the day that he is going to get to taste some beer. So we'll get to take a peek at that as well. So I put them on a very cute little platter with bluebirds on it in my sunroom, in a place where there is light but not direct sunlight.
So I'm getting ready to dry hop the beer. Dry hopping is when you add hops to a beer that is fermenting and in a cool down stage. So if you open the beer maker now, which it's okay to do, this is what the beer looks like now. It's got a nice yellow color to it. It's still bubbling, so there's still some fermentation going on because it's still going to ferment for another 5 days. So we'll add some hops and get that going. So I am now in the process of transferring the beer. Typically in brewing, this would involve you pumping this into a keg or putting it into bottles to carbonate it. But with the beer maker setup, you put it in this handy little clamshell plastic keg dispenser, which I'll show you what it looks like when it's closed. Hook it up to drip lines and you force carbonate it in your refrigerator. So this is what the beer tap looks like when it's closed up. It's a clamshell configuration, and what I will do is insert a CO2 cartridge into this little nipple, and then I will put that in the refrigerator, and I will do what's called a forced carbonation. That is where you use pressure, and it's usually pressurized CO2, to carbonate a beer. A lot of new beers will even do this with nitrous, so you'll hear nitrous beers. That's how they're carbonating their beer. Old school way is you would use sugar. If you did this in bottles, you would then put sugar tablets in the bottom of your beer to make carbonation and let it sit for a period of weeks until it fully carbonated. So the advantages of doing forced carbonation is I can carbonate this beer technically in 24 hours. You should let it sit for a couple of days under carbonation in the refrigerator just to help get the greenness out of the beer. That's kind of a woodsy taste out of the beer, is how they describe it. But you can do it within 24 hours and it'll still be good, versus when you do traditional carbonation, it would take 15 days or more to do.
We got about 5 or 6 inches of snow last night. I'm not sure exact the amount, but Ryan's been trying to put a dent in it. Sort of like Groundhog Day a couple weeks ago. Back at it. How cold is it?
It's not terribly cold.
It's icicles on your mustache codes. I'm scooping back here on the back sidewalk by the back fence, and I found these tracks in the snow. It snowed, well, first it rained, and then there was like sleet, water, slushy, and then, I don't know, 5-6 inches of snow. But look at these tracks. They were under the layer of snow. I don't know if that is a raccoon or what that is. Obviously, we don't have a dog that big. Dixie's feet are tiny. And those certainly don't look like dog tracks. Maybe it was a great big fat old possum. I don't know. We're on a safari in the icy backyard at the Mystical Magical Mansion. Wow.
Probably a raccoon.
They're really big. Look at the ones back.
Yeah, I bet you that's a raccoon.
Yeah, they're big. They must have been in the icy cold. Come back here.
I've seen one around here in Houston.
Big. Yeah, and then these big ones are in the back. I was definitely here last night during the storm. Okay, front steps. This one's gonna be no fun. Ryan's got a little list cleared away already. And yes, I still have my Christmas flowers in my urns. Don't judge me. It's just a little color, and they're pretty much frozen in place right now, so I'm gonna have to let them thaw just a bit before I can get those things out of there. Okay, big mama here today.
See if the beer's ready. First, you got to pour off a little bit of the top.
And how long has it been?
Just a little over 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and it's a, what kind of beer is this?
A hazy IPA.
Okay.
I have to do another carb tab on it just to get a bigger head, but the color looks good.
Yeah. How does it smell?
Smells like an IPA. And tastes like a hazy IPA. So, overall, pretty good. I think I'll just put another carb tab on it,
What does that mean?
so it'll give it a bigger head when you pour it.
Okay, explain a carb tap.
Well, like you'll see earlier in a video, the little carbonation CO2 cartridge that you put in the side here to help carbonate this. And it's been sitting for a couple days, so now I'll put a new one in just to keep it under pressure and keep it well carbonated. And now I just need to clean up my mess. Homebrew. Cheers. It's good.
Uh-oh. Did you get marker on your finger? It'll wash. What is that? What is that? I think every day should be special, and we should not keep all our special things tucked away. So I'm having a little tea mixed with some of my autumnal spirits. This is the spirits that I made back in October. I was cooking and talking about speakeasies when I made this. And added to this, it is just a really nice little toddy. It's kind of helping with a little bit of a cold that I'm nursing today. But it just makes it feel more special because it's in an old Spode turkey cup. It's got the turkey on the inside. So I hope that you will do something unapologetically fancy too. Get out your dishes, your jewelry, your pearls, your favorite things, whatever it is. Get out your good stuff. Do not tuck it away and keep it for a special occasion, because you know what? We are not guaranteed a tomorrow. So be unapologetically fancy today. All right, stay well, my friends, and I'll see you next week at the Mystical Magical Mansion.